Grab your popcorn and dim the lights. We're heading back to the fabulous 50s to track the neon lights and gravel lots of Toronto's cinema scene. From the rise of the massive drive-ins to the bittersweet final curtains of neighborhood gems, here's the history of Toronto moviegoing from 1950 to 1959. 1950, a new decade of drama. The decade kicked off with major players snatching up prime real estate. Odeon theaters marched into the paradise, while 20th century theaters staked their claim on the metro. May 19th, the Bay Theater makes its grand debut. May 27th, outdoor cinema arrives in Vaughan with the opening of the Dufferin Drive-In. August 3rd, a name change for the Belsize, which officially rebrands as the Crest Theater. December 22nd, just in time for Christmas, Odeon opens the Roxy Woodbridge. The final curtain. We said a sad goodbye to the Manor and Markham's Palace Theater, both of which closed their doors this year. 1951, The Great Shuffle. Corporate musical chairs was the name of the game this year, with theaters swapping hands across the city. The handoffs, the Rio moved to Allied Theaters, while the Guild joined the National Circuit. February 15th, the Savoy Theatre opens its doors to the public. July 11th, Weston gets a new local favorite with the opening of the Biltmore Theatre. The rebrand. Up in Uxbridge, the Rio gets a fresh identity as the Roxy. The departures. It was the end for the Eclipse and the King associated. 1952, Bigger is Better. This was the year of the Etobicoke expansion and the arrival of a record-breaking screen. Expansion fever. Allied Theaters grows its empire by acquiring the Adelphi and the Fox. Meanwhile, Odeon completes its takeover of the Paradise. February 28th, 20th Century Theaters celebrates the opening of the Westwood in Etobicoke. June 19th, history is made. The Scarborough Drive-In, 20th Century, opens, boasting Canada's largest screen. August 15th, the Brampton Drive-In opens for business, later to be known as the Odeon Drive-In. The departure, the Ideal Theatre closes its doors for good. 1953, changing of the guard. Ownership shifts continue to dominate the headlines as the industry tightened its belt. New management, Allied Theaters picks up the Astor and the Royce, while Odeon adds the Grant to its impressive roster. The Great Attrition, a tough year for local landmarks. We saw the closure of the Guild, Allied, the Hillcrest, National, the Lake, 20th Century, and the legendary Victoria, famous players. 1954, the drive-in boom and new brand looks. The year wrapped up with a flurry of activity from Vaughan to Scarborough. April 7th, National Theaters gives the Bluebell a new identity, the Gay Theatre. July 11th, Weston gets even more outdoor magic with the opening of the 400 Drive-In. October 14th, Famous Players makes a splash in Scarborough with the opening of the Golden Mile. New entrance. Premiere opens the Palace in Etobicoke. The final bows. We lost several venues this year, including the Ace, 20th Century, the Apollo, B&F, the original Bluebell, the Carlton at 509 Parliament, and the Royce.
1955, the battle against the small screen. Television, drive-ins, and the local bowling alley were the new kids on the block, and they were playing for keeps. This year saw a massive shakeup, with at least 17 theaters closing their doors for good. The Vanishing Act. The National Theatre chain officially disappeared from newspaper listings. New management. The Kenwood moved to Allied, while the Biltmore New Toronto was absorbed into Biltmore Theatres. Going international. On January 3rd, the old Royal George found a new lease on life as the Continental, specializing in foreign films. Grand openings. Allied Theaters launched the Gem. 1956, a move to the suburbs. While many downtown staples were fading, the industry followed the crowd into the burgeoning suburbs of Etobicoke and Mississauga. Identity crisis. On April 20th, The Odeon at Yonge and Carlton was renamed the Carlton to stop confused patrons from wandering into the Odeon at Queen Street W. A final bow. December 27th marked the end of an era as famous players closed the doors on Shays Theatre. Expanding frontiers. The West Hill, Etobicoke, and the Cooksville, Mississauga, both opened, though the Cooksville would sadly only last until 1960. The 1956 Curtain Call. Closures. Circle, 20th, Classic, Gem, Allied, Grand, Odeon, Grover, Paradise, Odeon, and Radio City. 1957, Cinerama saves the day. Technology was the answer to the TV threat, and nothing said big screen like the arrival of Cinerama.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinerama.
The Big Tech. On October 24th, Cinerama finally arrived at the University Theatre. Hey, only 3 years after Montreal got it. Better late than never. Ownership shuffles. The Century and Oakwood moved to 20th Century Theaters, while the Westwood made its debut in the Famous Players listings. The 1957 Curtain Call. Closures. Cameo, Crown, 20th, Kenwood, Paramount, and the Vogue in Mississauga. 1958 Swimming and Shuffling. How do you beat the heat and the competition? If you're the Dufferin Drive-In, you install a brand new swimming pool on July 3rd. Acquisitions. Famous players expanded their reach by taking over the York and the Birchcliff in Scarborough. Allied theaters also snatched up the Cumsey. The 1958 Curtain Call. Closures. October, the Royal in Aurora, Odeon, Colony, Odeon, Granada, La Plaza, and the Lansdowne. 1959. The decade closes out. The 50s ended with a final flurry of handovers as the industry braced for the 1960s. The handover. The Prince of Wales transitioned to 20th Century Theatres, while Premier Theatre took the reins at both the Park and the Astor. The final exit. The Mayfair was shuttered by 20th Century Theatres, ending its run. What a wild ride for Toronto's silver screens. Which of these legendary spots do you wish was still standing today? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into local history.